Government data released on August 31st showed that India's economic growth touched a record high in the April-June quarter of this financial year. The headline number reflected a very weak base of last year and a rebound in consumer spending. Gross domestic product rose 20.1% in the 3-month period, compared with a contraction of 24.4% in the same quarter last year. That record contraction last year was caused by a near-complete COVID-induced nationwide lockdown. However, India's GDP at constant prices in the first quarter of this year stood at 32.38 trillion rupees, which was still lower than the 35.66 trillion rupees in the first quarter of the pre-pandemic year 2019-20. This seems to indicate that India is yet to emerge from the COVID-induced slump. Nonetheless, this is the fastest growth rate India has registered since official quarterly data started being released in the mid-1990s. Delving deeper into the data, we have two experts with us to analyze what these readings indicate for the economy going forward. Let's start with DK Joshi, Chief Economist at CRISIL.
Well, the 20.1% GDP growth that the CSO released today was more or less in line with our expectations. We were expecting 19% for the first quarter. What is very clear is that the second wave brought down the healthcare to the brink, but the economy was not that badly impacted. This is because we are gradually learning to live with the virus, a phenomena which we think will play out in the coming quarters as well. But on a sobering note, let me point out that the first quarter GDP looks good on year terms. But if you look at it sequentially, which is over the last quarter, I think it's actually fallen. And the reason for that is that we got a virulent second wave, which hit the healthcare more than the economy, but it did hit the economy. And so the growth is largely base effect driven, but there are some positives as well. I think there are a few sectors which did extremely well. Agriculture is one of them. And then utilities also, I think, was another segment which includes electricity, I think did quite well. And in these segments, we are above the pre-pandemic levels. But for many other sectors, like contact-based services, which is looking at trade, hotels, transport, communication, I think these segments are still underperforming. And I think if you look at the quarter one GDP for 21-22, it is 30% below what it was in FY 19-20. So that is the extent of hit to the contact-based services. What's also, I think, interesting to observe is that both private consumption and investment are trailing the pre-pandemic levels. Even with the government pushing the pedal hard on public investments, the overall investments seem to be hit harder than consumption. So that was a little confusing to us. I think we were expecting investments to do somewhat better, which essentially means that the excess capacity in the industrial sector is not permitting the private sector to come forward and invest. Now, issue is what is in store for rest of the year. This forecast will create a mild bias to our growth numbers for the full year, which are at 9.5%. What will determine the trajectory of growth will be the severity of the third wave and the progress on vaccinations. I think as far as the progress on vaccinations is concerned, we are doing quite well. And the received wisdom, I think, which comes from people like the WHO chief scientist, is that we might be entering into an endemic stage. If this happens, then the third wave will not be very virulent. And in that case, I think we do see the 9.5% growth materializing.
Next, we have Madan Sabnavis, Chief Economist at CARE Ratings.
The overall GDP growth number has come more or less on expected lines given the negative base effect. Even though we at CARE Ratings, we had a forecast of around 14.1%. It's come at around 20.1%. There have been, of course, certain surprises, but I think that's more on account of the negative base effects. Like, for example, if you look at the services sector, we have seen that the trade, hotels, transportation sector growing at 34.3%, which is quite difficult to gel with the reality because we did have a lockdown and this particular segment was affected more than even the manufacturing services. But on the whole, I think the way we should look at this number is that it's provided a statistical buoyancy to the overall GDP growth number. And based on this higher number which has come, I think we are going to revise our forecast. We earlier had something like 8.8 to 9% for the full year. We would be probably pushing it to something like 9 to 9.1% based on this inherent buoyancy provided in the first quarter. But we could be expecting the Q2, Q3 and Q4 GDP growth rates to be tapering downwards as the base effect really comes down. And I think the brighter spot out here has been the agricultural sector. It's the only one which has shown a growth rate on top of a positive growth rate. So we're seeing something like 4.5% over 3.5%. But the success of this particular sector depends a lot on how the Kharif harvest fares. As of today, we have mixed reports about the progress of the monsoon and the area under cultivation. So we'll need to see it till the end of this month as to whether we're able to recoup any losses in terms of the area which is under cultivation, especially for crops like oilseeds and cotton, which have been the problem areas as of now. And in terms of capital formation, we have seen maintenance of the capital formation rate. We are at 27.2%. It was 27.1% for the whole year last year. And I think that's a positive sign. And we would hope to see some more push being given by the government of India in terms of capex, which could be contributing to maintaining this number, if not increasing it. We're, of course, looking at a number of something like 27.5% for the entire year.
The rebound has come despite a drag due to the deadly second coronavirus wave, which forced states across India to reimpose localized lockdowns and restrict mobility from late April to early June. The full year growth numbers will, however, mostly depend on how fast we can get more vaccine shots into more arms.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.